it working? Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's what? Is it working?
I mean, yeah.
Brown, am I coming through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Right, quickly, before we get going, it's the AoS show, Joe. So we're not talking about Emperor's Children, all right?
I've done something.
What have you done?
No, that's not
Every week you use this thing. Now twice a week normally.
Sorry, back.
Right, okay. We won't be talking about those rules. We'll talk about those rules probably on Thursday. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday lunchtime. I'm getting used to it now.
Yeah.
Rather than saying this fine Thursday evening or something crazy. For the Liam and Joe AoS show, our weekly dose, unless it's a new 40k codex, talking about Age of Sigmar, especially because edition 4 is coming out imminently.
Yeah.
Probably, late March, May, probably within the next 2 to 3 months.
There is a rumour.
Is there?
Right.
What's the rumour?
That it's on a day, which is very specific. It's a number very specific to Skaven.
There's a number specific to Skaven?
13. And there is a Saturday that falls on the 13th. I don't know if Games Workshop's that clever. I'd like to think that they are. But they're missing an opportunity if they don't.
Just looked at the calendar. I suggest that's probably a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
Anywho, some point in the next 2 to 3 months, we will probably see the release of Skaventide, the new Age of Sigmar 4th edition box set. So today, there's two things that I want to go over. The second one is if we have time. The first one is something I feel quite strongly about. Now, the second one, if we have time. Yesterday, they released an article on Warcom about the faction focuses that are coming up soon, which is I'm quite excited about. It's going to give us loads of content to cover, faction focuses, which is really, really cool. Especially because this is something that Joe and I are kind of getting into and diving into. So the lore is relatively new to us on the whole.
Yeah.
The factions are quite new to us on the whole. The faction rules and abilities are quite new to us. What units do and what units don't do are quite new to us on the whole. So faction focuses really excite me. If we have time, we will look at faction focuses.
Yeah. I think it also helps that a lot of our audience, predominantly 40kers, who would be interested, a bit AoS curious, as it were.
But I'm hoping they learn with us. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's the idea. I think the idea that you come on this magical journey of excitement and wonder.
Talk about magical journey. I'm getting really into magic lately. Vince's fault. Anywho, so yeah, absolutely that. So not only are we going to learn, but hopefully you guys get to learn with us if you're new to AoS. I'm hoping from about 4 months ago where we had very little interest, I'm hoping we've got more and more people that are AoS curious and are looking at giving it a go and jumping in. And that brings me up to the primary topic. Before we get to that primary topic though, if you haven't already, please make sure you smash all the magical YouTube buttons for us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Smash subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live or drop a new video. Alternatively, if you really want to make sure you definitely get notified when we go live or drop a new video, then you can become a member of the Great Hall. Or if you're very lucky, you might get gifted a membership to the Great Hall. !member, !gift if you want to do either of those things. If you're a member and you're in Discord, Discord lets you know when we schedule, when we go live, and when we launch a video. And it's typically quicker than YouTube is at letting you know, okay? You just have to go in there, select the right reaction role, because if you don't have the reaction role, it doesn't give you a little notification, because it don't want to just spam everyone all the time, because some people don't want the notifications. And that will let you know every single time we go live. If you've got thoughts, comments, anything about AoS specific at all, you can also send us big, colourful postcards, aka super chats. Or after the fact, you can super thanks. Mr. Joseph Svensson keeps telling me off because I keep not mentioning it. You can super thanks after the fact. All of those things that you do directly benefit and support the channel, and we're really, really grateful. We couldn't run this whole studio without your help. Specifically, gifted memberships. It's the biggest financial revenue generator we have here in the channel, and it allows us to do all this stuff, and it allows us to get excited about AoS 4 and add additional content, right? Anywho, on to the topic at hand. So,
hang on. I've got a super chat from Kazarian.
Okay.
As an example of what people can do.
Yeah.
Says, are we saying that brackets age of close brackets Sigmar open brackets event close bracket lied? So, are we saying that Sigmar lied or Age of Sigmar event lied?
We'll get into that.
And then Star Pilot said, Sigmar lied about how fun the AoS event would be.
Thank you, you two, for your $4 between you. I think you're amazing. Thank you so much. We'll get into that. So, I just said, like, a lot of people are AoS curious. I think that it's probably fair to say that for every 4 to 5 40k players, normally there's probably one AoS player, right? In terms of a rough split, I reckon that's probably relatively accurate. At best, it's 3-1. I'd expect it to be more like 4 or 5-1, typically. 40k products outsell AoS products every time. 40k starter sets outsell AoS starter sets every time. 40k events outsell AoS events every time. Age of Sigmar has always been a smaller game. It's always been a smaller game than 40k. I've said already on stream previously that if there was ever a time where potentially AoS could do a lot of work to catch 40k up. Now, I don't think it will fully catch it up, nor do I think it will take it over. And I don't actually think it will be as big as, because of history and people and routine and people not liking change, etc. But if they ever had a chance to really close that gap, now is that chance to close that gap. Schooner, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, sir. Schooner. We love you a long time.
Thank you so much for 5 gifted. I think if there was ever a time that could happen, this is that time where it can close that gap. And there's a number of reasons why I think this, right? The NDA lifted on Friday for Joe and I. I'm going to say this out loud because I don't want you to cock up, right? This isn't me. I'm being nice now. We can talk about the fact that we've played Spearhead. We can talk about the fact that we played full-scale Age of Sigmar 4. We can add context to why decisions have been made. And we can talk about anything on Warcom, okay? We can't talk about, Joe, time, date, location, staff members in attendance, any other creators in attendance, direct quotes from staff members, and a couple of other things that I can't even say because it would give away other things, right? So we can say, we can't give away any of the additional match play rules that we played so far that haven't been showed on Warcom. We can't give away any of the additional faction rules that we've played so far that haven't been shown on Warcom, all right? So one of the reasons why, there's a lot we can't say, fucking watertight this NDA. One of the reasons why I'm so excited for AoS 4 and why I think it has a chance to close that gap is because we've played it.
Yeah, I think they should have just made lies of saying you could say you played it.
Yeah, so we can say we played it.
You can say it exists.
Joe and I, in the morning, played Spearhead against other people. Yeah. And in the afternoon, we played a game of Age of Sigmar 4th edition against each other. And by, I reckon, battle round 3-ish, we were basically playing unaided.
Yeah, obviously I've played a couple games before of AoS 3 and getting my head around when things happen, how they happen, what they do. It was a bit of a weird one, especially when people were like, we're going to use it's not the field manual, it's the General's Handbook, isn't it? And it was very confusing. But then playing 4, we were like, cool, I've done a bit, they've fixed it, it makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
I know this now. Everything I do, I can do it proper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
our experience playing the game was phenomenal. I see what you're saying. I see what Martin said as well. I hope it stays a smaller game. The crowd is a very different animal to 40k. I'd like it to stay that way. I have to be careful. Based on the rules, I don't think it has a risk, even if the audience grows, at going down the 40k route.
No.
Because the rules just don't allow people to do that.
No.
So I think if the audience for it grows, and I don't think it's going to grow exponentially, but I think if the audience for it grows, currently my fear for that, because I'm the same as you, I don't want it to go down the route of 40k, to be honest with you. I don't want it to stay separate, I want it to be different, I want it to feel like it feels like. Because it feels more friendly, more garage hammery, more chill, more beer and pretzels. I think the rules team have done a good job at stopping that from being a risk. From a selfish perspective, creating content, I'd like it to close that gap with 40k, so when we produce a video or do a stream, we have similar levels of engagement to what we do with 40k.
Yeah.
But that's an entirely selfish business perspective.
I think also, in terms of meeting the design team, they are a very passionate group of people.
They are, yeah.
They have goals, they have a plan, they know what they want to happen, and they make it happen.
I think the other thing as well is they really fucking love Sigmar.
Yeah.
And they don't just love Sigmar because of the game, they love it because of the narrative.
Warhammer community didn't lie.
No, well, no.
Because it is their favourite game ever.
They do really love Sigmar.
Yeah.
And they really love the narrative. Another reason why I think perhaps currently, the current team in place, that's not a risk. So, I've just said that it's the best game, it's one of the best games that they've produced, in my opinion. We had a great time playing it. I think the game's phenomenal. Yeah. I've just said we had a great time playing it. It's phenomenal. I've already told you on Friday that Spearhead is absolutely fantastic and will probably continue to work for quite a long time as its own standalone game. Yeah. And I'm very excited about Spearhead.
I think it will become a popular tournament.
It could even become its own little mini game separate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I have context when I tell you how excited I am about 4th edition Age of Sigmar because I've been and played it. But everybody else hasn't. So we were lucky. We were invited for early access as creators by GW because we've been in conversations with GW for a while about covering Age of Sigmar. Games Workshop have specifically said they would like more channels to cover Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And we've had that conversation for a while. And in 3rd edition, we're like, I'm not really feeling it. It's just the barrier to entry for me personally was too high because all these generals' handbooks were out and there's different. I was like, I don't, maybe. And they said to us, well, would you like to come and do an experience of 4th edition and we'll showcase you the game? And we did that.
Clothing optional.
But everybody else hasn't had that chance.
No.
Clothing optional, absolutely. Everybody else hasn't had that chance. Everybody else hasn't had the chance to see behind the scenes for 4th edition and see the game and play Spearhead.
Yeah.
So Games Workshop put on some events, 2 specifically. One in Texas and one at Warhammer World this last weekend, called Mortal Realms Reforged, I think was the event.
Yeah.
And it was a open day type thing where they would show off the new edition of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
So I got tickets. The tickets were free. You had to book them via their Eventbrite page, and they sold out in, I think, under 5 minutes. I say sold out, they didn't sell them.
But free is a good price. We like free.
Free is free, you know. So I grabbed 2 tickets, and I took, because you were supposed to be busy, or more on that later. So I took Kyle along, because Kyle hadn't come to the Creator Day. The Creator Day was originally just me, and then I really pushed and asked very nicely if Joe could come, because he's very excited about it, and we were both allowed to go. But none of the other team have gone. Brom hasn't seen it, Paddy hasn't seen it, Eddie hasn't seen it, Kyle hadn't seen it. So Kyle's local to me, so I thought, well, I'll grab an extra ticket, I'll take Kyle up to Warhammer World for the day. He's also never been to Warhammer World until Tuesday, until Saturday, and we'll go have a look at this creator event. Now, you like to think that people in general, including businesses, learn from mistakes.
You'd think so.
Apparently, that is not a mantra that Games Workshop employ.
No.
So I went up to Warhammer World on Saturday, and we set off pretty early in the morning. We got there for about 10:30, 11:15, right? And it's 3 hours from Southampton, so we did set off quite early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what to expect, but I was expecting a big fancy showcase showing off Age of Sigmar 4th edition and giving everyone a chance to at least have a decent look at it. I arrived at Warhammer World, and there's they call it a concierge, there's a fucking receptionist. There's a concierge downstairs in the front door, right? I'm the Warhammer World concierge. You're a receptionist, right? You're a receptionist. Don't get ideas above your station. Anyway, and through him you were able to book demo games. Now, I obviously didn't need to book demo games, and I asked Kyle if he wanted to book demo games, and he said no. He didn't want to book demo games.
What a dweeb.
But we were at the downstairs at this point, and I was like, okay, well, we'll go have a good look at it. We went upstairs. If you've ever been to Warhammer World, you go in the downstairs area. If you've not been, you go in the downstairs area. There's a couple of like displays and stuff. Then you go up a big set of stairs, and it loops around, and you walk into the main part of Warhammer World. And when you walk into the main part, you walk into the store, which is a large store.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side is the Warhammer store, everything Warhammer. On the right-hand side is the Forge World store, everything Forge World. You then walk into this massive gaming hall, and you can go through to Bugman's, okay? So we walked up into the store. Nothing special apart from it was quite busy. It's Warhammer World on Saturday. It was busy anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
We then walked into the gaming hall. It wasn't that big. Because what they'd done, Joe, is you get them like shitty fake office partition walls that are like a bit soft to the touch.
Yeah.
They'd basically blocked off over 2/3 of the hall with partition walls.
All right, yeah.
So as you walked in, you're greeted by a row of tables where you can paint a miniature, right? And on the left-hand side, you've got a registration desk if you're going to do your demo game. On the right-hand side, you had a registration desk if you wanted to get into the Legends of Paint competition, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that one in just a moment. That fucks me off, but that's a modern-day whinge more than just a GW whinge. Anyway, we'll get to that. I'm fucking so angry about this weekend. So I was like, all right, cool. So to show off the game, you have to go behind the partition wall. So if you've just turned up there to see AoS 4, you can't see the game. It's behind a partition wall. The only way you can get behind there is by booking a demo game. The only way you can book a demo game is by having one of those free tickets. Okay? So you couldn't demo unless you had a ticket.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a ticket, you just flat couldn't see the game being played. Had no idea what was going on, right? So they did, however, in this little area that they blocked off, have 2 little cases of the models in little dioramas that weren't lit.
Oh.
And they're about maybe like that big. Maybe like that big if I'm looking top down. Not lit.
Oh.
So you didn't really see the models. Okay. I was like, cool, okay, but there's a massive paint a model section, right?
What model did you get to
So
paint?
surely they're going to give me a new Clan Rat or a new, what's the dudes with the hammers called?
Liberator.
Maybe a new Liberator. Nah, they were the models from the 3rd edition launch box.
What,
In fact-
Island of Blood?
No, from the old Stormcast
Dominion.
versus Dominion, yeah. They were the spear dudes from Dominion, right? Or, actually, when you look at all the painting area, one of them was a Space Marine. AoS Reforged Day, there's a Space Marine you could paint.
I see.
So you couldn't even you could look at them in these poorly lit cabinets, or you could paint a model from 3 years ago. Cool, good, okay.
Good start.
If you wanted to paint a model from 3 years ago as well, you could only use contrast paint. Anywho,
Well, a gold model, then do gold contrast.
eventually I found, if you in the store, if you know where the counter is, there's a big display cabinet at the back.
Yeah.
And originally I did discover that on the second shelf down, not even on the top shelf, on the second shelf down, they had also put all the models out for you to look at, right? And they were the heavy metal painted ones, and that was lit. So people could finally, Kyle could see the models in some kind of detail.
Yeah.
Right? And they were beautiful detail, and you could see the models in that cabinet. What they also didn't do though was display everything in the box. Now I know they've done the Warcom article, but I feel like when we saw the display, the top shelf was all the models, and the bottom shelf had the book, the cards, the map, everything was in the cabinet.
Yeah, you want to be able to see what's in the box.
You want to see the contents of the box.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the stuff on the sprue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nothing. It was just the models, and they were. These ones were at least lit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, right, okay. Kyle, do you want to do a demo game now? No, I'm not really bothered. I was like, okay, cool. His theory is we'll probably, if we're going to get the box, we'll probably get it soonish. It's a reasonable theory. I don't know that.
Yeah.
GW have in the past sent us stuff 2 days beforehand. So, I mean, I hope fucking not, but it's possible, right? So I was like, I mean, logically, but we're here if you want to have a... Anyway, we did the museum tour. The museum tour is 100% always worth doing.
Yeah.
Right? But we did the museum tour. We came back up. We spent some time in Bugman's. We sat with Mr. Josh and his cronies. That was great because seeing him is always amazing. Yeah. I bumped into Mikey from Hellstorm, who's agreed to come on a saga and come and do a live stream with us.
Nice.
His words, not mine. His words. Maybe you could teach me how to live stream a game properly. He said that at the table in front of everybody else, right?
Boys gotta learn. You know, but,
I fucking love Mikey anyway.
but he was there with
Elliot.
With Elliot. Is Elliot coming?
Here?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, me and him just hang out the back.
You're just like, you want to hang out the back of Elliot?
Yeah.
So I hang out the back with Elliot?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out the back of Elliot.
Yeah. So, I was like, okay, so what's this Legends of Paint thing? Because I'd seen it advertised. I fucking hate Legends of Paint.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do tell more.
If you put something in Legends of Paint,
Yeah.
you get a pin.
A participation pin. Was there a winner?
No one that went there didn't get a bronze, silver, or gold, Joe. If you put something in, you get a pin. I don't like participation medals. It annoys me. Don't like it at all.
Having a pin saying that you entered is fine as long as there is a first, second, third. Like these are the best people, but you entered. You tried.
So eventually, we got to about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock-ish, I think.
Yeah.
And eventually, Carl was like, should we just do it? Because there's nothing else to do. There was nothing else to do there at all.
Thank you, Rossonero, for 10 gifted memberships.
You're a legend, thank you so much.
I interject with a bit of happiness.
Yeah, so we get to the point where we've been here for a few hours now. Now, we were lucky that we bumped into a few people. I've seen Captain Mannerings in chat, chatted to Ben there with Laura. Lovely people, bumped to them twice at Warhammer World now. They're amazing creatures. Yeah. Chatted to Mikey and Elliot, chatted to some of the staff, obviously spent time with Josh and his team, Reza, Ads, and... Chris, thank you. I did tell you earlier. I'd already forgotten. And there's a couple other people we've spoken to. A guy called Mark who runs the Command Phase came up and said hello. Yeah. Great channel, by the way. Check out Command Phase. Really, really small right now, but incredible editing. Makes us look terrible. And so it's... we run out of stuff to do. We just completely ran out of stuff. So Kyle was like, well, should we do a demo game? I was like, yeah, cool, okay. So he went down to book a demo game. Earliest one they would do is 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. And he was like, I kind of wanted to be on the road by then. So we basically just left.
Oh.
Well, no, I picked up a Grombrindel.
Yeah, he's a beautiful model.
Yeah, I picked up one of him and then we left.
I wish I'd known that he was there. because I would have got you to get me one.
You can have my one.
Oh, no, it's all right. You have your one. But I was like, it's a nice model.
What's my one going to do?
Be limited edition.
Sit on a shelf for probably the next fucking 2 years.
Yeah, what army can you go in? Thank you once now for another 10
Oh my God!
You mentioned Grombimbidbiddle.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
Thank you, Ross.
I love
for the
short
20
bearded
gifted,
men.
man. What a fucking legend.
You are. A
So,
hero.
I mean, what annoys me, right? We'll take away the Legends of Paint nonsense. I say there's a participation medal. I don't actually know for a fact. I just know that every single person that put something in that I know of got a bronze, silver, or gold pin. And they were nice painted pieces, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they didn't deserve some kind of an award, but it felt like whatever you put in, you would get a bronze, silver, or gold pin.
Yeah.
And I was like, I then feel sad for the people that did get a bronze, silver, or gold pin. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, everyone just got one anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you walk away from Legends of Paint with a gold pin, you'll be like...
Did you have to bring the model with you, or did you have to paint a model?
No, you brought it with you.
Oh.
But I feel like if you got a gold pin, you won't be like, I got a fucking gold, this is amazing. Right? Rather than everyone got a pin. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying though, right? I'm never like participation.
I'm the same as all the other golds. It's more of a grading first, of like, you're level 1, you're level 2, you're level 3 kind of painting. It's not so...
But I think part of the reason, if you looked at if you spent any time in the day looking into the cabinets, I think part of the reason was there wasn't that many people putting entries in.
Oh.
Like it was a bit sparse.
It wasn't really
But this
advertised.
goes back to where I'm going with this whole story, right? The whole fucking thing was poorly advertised and poorly run. I had no idea that these tickets were going up for sale until the Monday that I was watching War Hipster, and he said they're going up in half an hour. And I was like, what? What tickets? To discover what the event was, right? And then they went up and I grabbed 2. I hadn't really seen any other advertising about it whatsoever. I got an email about Legends of Paint maybe 4 days before the event saying, you can enter Legends of Paint. It's a bit late to tell me, 4 days before the event. 2 days before the event, I get an email saying, you can book a fucking demo game. I was like, well, I don't need to because I've already done it. Didn't think of Kyle, it's my fault. But like, it's just, there was no real advertising, there was no real hype. And if you think about the Horus Heresy Day that they did a couple of years ago.
Someone said it was terrible.
If you think about the Horus Heresy Day where they had creators come in and all that, and they really made a big thing about it. Age of Sigmar is supposed to be bigger than Heresy. I mean, it's not. Heresy sells.
Can I have a caveat?
Heresy outsells Age of Sigmar, but it like considering compared to 40k and Heresy, it is a smaller game, and this is their chance to close the gap. They did a shit job of selling it to people.
Do you think that they've learnt a lesson from the So, right, this is a bitchy comment I'm about to say now. The words are going to go right. Unless you follow, if you didn't follow Games Workshop, right, from the Horus Heresy event, you wouldn't have known that there was a Horus Heresy event going on from all the people that went to Warhammer World.
What, all the creators?
Because there was loads of creators went. Not a single one put anything up about Horus Heresy.
Well, I think that's perhaps a slight exaggeration, but it's mostly true.
I'd say, okay, it was a 90-10 split.
I had loads about Miniac at the Heresy event.
Yeah, loads about that. People hanging out in Bugsman's, people standing around in a hall signing White Dwarfs. But Zorba was there. He showed about it. And Ash from Miniatures, he was there. He talked about it. But it's kind of like, it was just more of a hangout. It was more of a social. That's all I kind of really understood from the Horus Heresy event. So, but it's the covering up, right? So Games Workshop have already shown off all the models from the box, right? All the models, right? So having the whole section kind of walled off doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
Right? Unless they're trying to hide the cards, right, for the units that are in the box. But who cares? It's literally there's like, but who cares? Like, that information is going to be out in the world soon.
But if you have that problem, then you ban photography on the cards with signs up everywhere. You let people know. You've got a staff member on every table. Yeah. Someone whips their phone out.
But the thing is, though,
put the phone away, dickhead.
How many content creators that went there, did it, photographed everything, talked about it that night? This is what the stats of this unit. This is the stats of this unit. This is the card for this one. This is what the model looks like. It's like, just have it out, because if you want to show off something, right, if you're a game creator, you're releasing the new Call of Duty, right? You no one can see it until it's out. We're not going to release any trailers. We're not going to show anything, right? They go, no, I want every YouTuber on the internet playing this game, showing it off.
Yep.
Right? We're going to go to every single massive event and have massive screens and people can go and watch it and see it happening. Like, if you're AoS curious, I'm going to go to the AoS day. I didn't book a ticket, but I'll see what's going on. All you're going to see is a bunch of walls. You want to see people playing the game, having fun, having excitement. You go, oh, I want a bit of that. I want a bit of that excitement.
But equally, like, I'm going to go a step further, right? Because we've done the creative, and what made me sad is, to be very clear, chat as well. I want to get something very, very clear, very, very quickly. I'm still monumentally excited for AoS 4, and that hasn't changed. But what I really, really wanted was a way in which GW basically got a lot more people excited alongside. And I feel like even from advertising the thing, they failed to do that, because I feel like a lot of people that went there were already AoS people anyway. And so they were excited about new AoS, and I feel like that could have been an opportunity to bring in a raft of people that haven't really played before, make a big thing about it, never played AoS before, come and learn with us on this day. Like, I feel like they could have done a huge thing about bringing people in. Warhammer World's a big place; it can handle people. Right, that's not an issue.
When you go to a GT event there, you get lunch provided in the cafeteria. Just have people be able to go through to the cafeteria.
Even then, right? Even as far as the the creator day that we did goes, and there's not a lot I can say about it, and that pisses me off. Well, why bother? Because now what happens is, right? So now what happens is, so since the NDA lifted on Friday morning, what I can say is AoS 4's good, and then I just look like a cunt because I can't say anything else.
Yeah, because what happens is you got to play it before we did. And that's it.
It's good.
Yeah,
and I can't really say why. I can give some context as to why. I can say that what I love about the fact is that it still feels like a D6 game without feeling like someone else can run away with it. They've worked really, really hard to make sure that the points differential is managed so that it doesn't feel like someone's just getting tabled every time. Like, I can say that kind of stuff, but I can't really give any detail. I'm like, you have Games Workshop as a company in general has one of the most archaic kind of marketing attitudes in history. They don't use Facebook ads, they don't use Google ads, they don't use fucking anything, right? What they use is they use Warcom and they use creators, okay? Now, when I say they use creators, more on that in a moment. The first problem is that they use Warcom, right? And the biggest issue with Warcom is that Warcom have this I spoke to Peachy about this, I don't know if it was in the saga, but Warcom have this fucking weird God complex where they have to release everything first. They have to be the first people to break the news. Get a grip, you're Warcom. Right, fuck off. Because if you didn't do that, if you allowed Play On or Titans or Tabletop Tactics to break, or Mini Wargaming to break the news first, a lot of people are going to see it.
The thing is though, if you're allotting time slots to go and play, that solves the queue problem, right? But you're still Warhammer World having an open day. Hundreds of people are going to turn up, and if you can't go into the hall, where the fuck do you go?
People just milling around the shops, Joe. Milling around. Bugman's was rammed. You could struggle to get a table all day in Bugman's because people basically got to Warhammer and was like, what do I do? Sit in Bugman's for the day.
Yeah.
That was it.
Wait for my time slot.
So I feel like you have this potential. Now, what I would have done, here's what I would have done if I was Games Workshop, okay? First things first, right? You advertise this event better and bigger, and you go out to creators and get them to help you advertise it, right? Not hard. That's pretty simple.
Thing is, right, so Games Workshop don't have an issue of opening up their cafeteria. Right, have you been into their cafeteria?
No.
Massive. It's big. It's twice the size of this room that we're in.
And this room's big, by the way.
This is a big room, twice the size of this. Fucking massive, right? Because it has to fit like potentially 200 gamers because you get a free lunch. So on doubles weekend, there's nearly 200 people there, right? And they all go and have lunch in the same place. So if you want to hide away the game, just put the demo tables in there. Have the games all open. But
here's what I would do, right? This is how I'd run it. Right? I'm by no means an expert. Yeah. I'm happy to open this up to chat as well and get them to super chat in things that they want to do or what they would do differently. But here's what I would do, right? First things first is I would invite creators to a creator day, as many as I possibly can on different days. I'd run 2 weeks of days and get people in, right? I'd do exactly what they did with us, right? Yeah. That I wouldn't change. Yeah. I'll be honest, that day was fucking fantastic.
It was great.
Okay? Honestly, we can't say when, where, who, what, whatever. I don't think that really matters, but get them in.
The lunch was banging, by the way.
Get them in, present them with a presentation as to why and what, played Spearheads, a second presentation for match play match play, fuck them off home, right? Yeah. I would add one extra piece of information to that. I would say, by the way, and we've done this creator day back in whenever, let's say, for sake of argument, March, right? Just March, because the event was this last weekend in May.
Yeah.
It's 2 months in advance. I say, before you go home, here's a pack that we're going to give you, right, with the things that you can talk about. Because what we want you to do is we want you to make a video, make some content about your experience today. Here's all the stuff you can talk about, and I'd probably loosen the noose a little bit compared to what we've actually had to talk about. We can go, we played it, right? So do that, and also say we're selling tickets to the AoS Reforged Open Day that's going to take place on May the 17th, whenever it was.
Yeah.
The tickets are going to go up on April the 29th, because that was a Monday, right?
Yeah.
So for sake of argument, right? What we want to do is we want your embargo lifts, I don't know, 2 hours before the tickets go on sale,
Yeah.
right? So say the tickets go on sale at 5 p.m, your embargo lifts at 3 p.m, or something like that. Or maybe it's like a half a day before or a day before, right? So what that happens is before the tickets have gone on sale, right, you end up with, and I also would open it up and allow more people to come. A load of content creators go, we've played new AoS, it's fucking incredible, okay? This is why it's incredible, this is our experience, and if you want to see this too, then in 2 hours, tickets go on sale to Games Workshop Warhammer World, where they're going to run their open day.
Yeah.
Right? That's the event hyped immediately. Immediately, everyone's like, fuck, they said it's really, really good, they've had a great time. And let us take videos and let us take photos.
Yeah.
And I don't even give a shit if GW vet it to a point, but if we could take if we have some video footage of you and I playing 4th edition and just fucking enjoying ourselves, because we did really enjoy ourselves, people go, they look like they're having a great time, I want to go and see what this is all about, right? And then you don't have to be so secretive. There's none of that worrying going on because the creators have already put it out there, and you're using a marketing tool that simply costs you 2 lunches for 2 people that came and played the game for a day somewhere.
And the thing is, though, I would go one step further and have those content creators be giving the demo games.
100%.
Right?
Absolutely. Because
So
they've got about...
come and we'll be here between this time and this time. You have to book your slot in advance, but we'll be doing tables. And they'd be like,
my most favourite thing about the embargo lift, right, was that I had an email come through about the embargo lifting, okay? On Wednesday last week, I had this email come through, or Tuesday last week.
I think I got the same one.
Right?
Yeah.
And it said, here's some details as to what you can talk about. And I've been through the list with you guys already on the stream, okay? And they said something like tonight, or Thursday night, we have this super exciting blah, 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 spearhead reveal, and they got 2 people from AEW, which is a type of wrestling for poor people, I think, because
it's like,
I'd never heard of it
the
before.
Coca-Cola League.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So I was told these 2 big names, who I'd never fucking heard of before, are going to be like duking it out on stage, and we're going to stream it. It's going to be super cool. And I was like, fucking great. They're throwing some decent money at marketing and getting like extra people involved. That's cool. I'd never heard of AEW. I never heard of the 2 people.
Well, I find
one of the people has got like millions of followers on Instagram. So I was like, this is cool. It's good marketing, right? This is how you push it out to mainstream people, right? And that was 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday, stroke 2 o'clock at night, Thursday night. Thursday night, Friday morning, 2 a.m., right? UK time, okay?
Yeah.
And so they were saying, we want you to push people in the direction of the stream and get people really excited about the content and get people really excited about the launch. So here's the NDA details. This is what you can talk about, right? For the thing that happened 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and the NDA lifted 9 a.m. on Friday. 7 hours after it took place. I'm not entirely sure.
To be fair, 2 o'clock in the morning is when you would normally watch WrestleMania.
I'm not but it doesn't matter. I'm not entirely sure how I send people there. 7 hours after it happened, Joe.
That's true.
Surely, if the NDA lifts at 9 o'clock in the morning the day before it happens, I've played AoS 4. It's fucking incredible. If you watch the stream at 2 o'clock tonight, you'll see 2 people play it. Apart from you might not. Because they had all these fancy wrestling intros, and they came onto the stage, and they had chairs propped up, and I was like, someone's going to get fucking it, and all that's going to be great. And then they went to 3 shit cameras, 2 of them that seemed to have a blue filter on, to watch 2 hours of people who didn't really know the rules.
They're not teaching them the game beforehand?
I mean, these are probably 2 people that are a lot of bangs to the head, mate. You probably need to do more than just teaching the game beforehand.
But what I find mad, right, no offense to these guys, right, but there are WWE wrestlers, Premier League, right? Wrestlers who fucking love Warhammer.
Yeah, but they'd have to.
There's a woman who literally her entire wrestling ensemble, every match is a different Warhammer faction. So she's got like her top and trousers like Sister of Battle armor, or she's got Blood Angels one, or she's got Khorne ones. And like, what the fuck was she? Why did you get her on?
Well, I mean,
like, I love Warhammer so much.
They probably have to pay her a lot more money, which they won't do, Jay. I think the thing for me I am, because of the experience that you and I have had, I am so incredibly excited about this release, and I am already incredibly nervous about this release. And I'll explain, chap. Not because of the rules. I'm not nervous about the release because of the rules or because of the state of the game or that sort of stuff. I'm nervous about this release because what I would like to do from a business perspective is I would like to create a ton of content around AoS 4. Additional, I might add, additional content. So those of you that just hovered over the unsubscribe button, it's not 40k. Additional content, you motherfuckers, right? I keep getting messages. I came for 40k and you've done an AoS stream. There's additional content. You bellend. You probably should unsubscribe because you're clearly dumb.
It's normally grey names.
It's always grey names, Joe. Yeah. The heaviest opinionated people about what I should and shouldn't charge for are always grey names.
Are the poor.
Yeah. So anyway, I would like to create a ton of additional content around AoS 4, and I really want to get into this game because I love fantasy, I love the model range. Finally, I think there's a rule set that I can understand and jump in and jump on board with when it goes live, and I'm really, really excited for it. And GW had an opportunity with these open days to generate more hype, more excitement, and get more people excited for it. Now, you know what? If more people get excited about it, when I put that content out there, potentially I have a bigger audience of people searching for that content, going, GW have made a good job of hyping this up, let's go and have a look at some content. But they've just yet again swing and a miss. And I'm like, I mean, no wonder fucking Dominion, the fastest selling AoS box set of all time, never sold out, because they're just shit at marketing anything.
I think, I'm not going to say names, but I do know people who work in marketing who have applied for jobs at Games Workshop. And these people have experience with marketing, good experience with marketing on a large scale, and Games Workshop pay peanuts. So like, oh, I work for you. So what happens is that Games Workshop aren't willing to pay for people with good marketing experience.
Yeah, and
so they tend to aim towards students.
This is absolutely something that was talked about kind of on the Peachy saga.
Yeah.
One of Peachy's biggest, if you haven't seen the saga, watch the saga. It is a 3.5 hour saga. It is a saga. And one of Peachy's biggest gripes now he's left Games Workshop is they need to pay their staff more.
Yeah.
That's not from me. I don't have an opinion on this because I've never been paid by GW, okay? Yeah. So I'm not going to be one of those fucking warriors who goes on the internet going, GW should do this. I've never run a business that size. Yeah. And I've never worked for Games Workshop. So I can't make a comment. Peachy, who had worked for them for a very long time, sat on his sofa and said they should pay their staff more. He knows. He's worked there. He knows more than I do.
Right? And the thing is, though, like, if you
can unsubscribe, I thought you'd have my kneecaps. I will, exclamation mark member.
I just felt that whole, like, I don't have an issue with them running the event at Warhammer World, but when you invite people to come and see something at Warhammer World, like, basically just turning it into a train station waiting room.
Yeah, it was weird, man.
Is a bold choice, right? Because you want to grow hype.
Here's
right?
the other thing as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw in the chat, right? So after you left, they did bring out clan rats.
Old ones.
From Island of Blood.
Yeah.
Which is 15 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Ben that said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Ben and Laura played demo games. Warhipster and his cronies played demo games, right? I think Mikey and Elliot went and played demo games.
Yeah.
Here's the most frustrating thing about all that, right? Every single person who went and played demo games that I've spoke to since they played demo games, Mark from the Command Phase went and played demo games.
Yeah.
And he was with a guy from a channel I think called We Paint Minis or something like that.
Yeah.
They went and played demo games. And every single person I spoke to afterwards that played a demo game, every single one came out and went, that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And this is what gets me, right? They literally have the product. They have the product that they can. Your product is good. Everyone that's done a demo said it's good. Everyone who's been to a create day said it's good. The product is fantastic. So, oh, fuck it, we'll market like dog shit. Why?
It's frustrating.
You've got a good. It's harder to market a shit product well than it is to market a good product.
And AoS
well.
sells itself. Do you like rats riding rats with stabby things? Yes. Do you like absolutely like hench dude and muscle mummies going around wrecking shit? Yes. Winning.
It was just a massive swing and a miss. And sometimes I wonder, so I say this based on the Warhammer world, right? The literal home of Warhammer. I say this based on the Warhammer World event. They obviously at the same time were running an event at Texas. At Texas, the demo area, I've seen it on Twitter. because I refuse to call it X. I seen it on Twitter from one of the rules writers who posted a picture on Twitter of their demo area. It looked big and fancy. And I think that, honestly, I think they put probably a significant more effort into a US event.
Right, so they do, right, which is not a problem, but Warhammer World has its own manager, right?
Cronies isn't a harsh term, by the way, man.
But you got to think, right, like they wouldn't have taken the management from Warhammer World away to go and work at an event in Texas, would they? Because in Texas, right, they have their own staff there.
Travis's comment is great. Love it. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, like they're not like so. Right. So what they've done is they've left the management team there and left them in charge, which doesn't really tell you. That tells you the right. They might be a big fan. I don't want to upset them, but it tells you the quality of the management they've left behind. They're like, dogs, like cats away.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't at Texas. Texas might have been just as bad. They might have walled everything off and didn't let you see, or I don't know. But
just having the right models for people to paint.
I feel like
because people go like, oh, the new Liberator's good.
I feel like if you'd have let any single person sit down at a table and pick a new Clan Rat or a new Liberator, I'm not talking about characters, just a Clan Rat or a Liberator. If you let them sit down, paint one of those and take it home, then you would have struggled to get a seat at those painting tables.
Yeah.
That would have been a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it's hype. And then what you end up with afterwards is you end up with a sea of people on Instagram posting their brand new Liberator or their brand new Clan Rat. Guess what? Marketing for free.
Yeah.
You've given away a model, peanuts in the grand scheme.
What I'd even do, right? Do you know what I would definitely do? Because they're worried about, because they're like, people stole the models from the Heritage event. What you do is you got one model to paint now, one model to take home, do what you want with. Here are 2 Liberators. Fill your boots. Right? And then, so you got one I can paint there now, goes on social media, they go, here's the hashtags, blah, 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 blah. Take the other one home, use the same hashtags, but paint it really nicely. Do your literal very best painting this model. Right?
I just feel like, Sergeant Angle has literally hit the nail on the head for me here. This is why I think this was a swing and a miss at Warhammer World, at least, the home of Warhammer. Not to mention, we don't seem to ever get a preview on UK time anymore. That's a lie. We did get a preview, I think 6:45 on Saturday, which was mostly dog shit, apart from Heresy Mechanicum, which is fucking stunning. Anyway, that's not for today. This is AoS show. He says the biggest problem isn't keeping the existing AoS audience, is getting others to try it. They need to get people excited about giving AoS a go. Exactly that. And that's what they failed to do at Warhammer World this time round, I think. And I think it's the home of Games Workshop. It's the home of Warhammer World. I drove up there. Car park was full, so we couldn't park. So I drove back around the industrial estate. Kyle didn't realise how many buildings Games Workshop have. I was like,
they own most of that industrial
They basically own Lenton Road, there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Right?
Every time a company has left Lenton Road, Games Workshop's immediately taken it over.
I feel like it's just going to miss, and I feel like I'm not angry necessarily, but
I'm just disappointed.
The title says it. AoS event disappointment. It wasn't good.
Right.
If you went there with zero expectation, which I feel like nowadays is part of what you probably do for Games Workshop events, then you come away going, yeah, it was cool.
Thing is though, right? Like, because I feel like they're like, because the tickets are free, we won't put that much effort in. But anyway, our tickets are free. People come, they play the game, they get excited, they leave with models. They go, I really enjoyed that game. I'm not so much excited about rats or stormcast, but I really like ogres. I really like orcs.
There are a number of people who played the demo games who went into the shop and bought a spearhead at full price from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about it. You fucking clowns. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
And like I said, the product is really, really good. The product is phenomenal. It literally sells itself once you get people excited about it. But they don't do very good at getting people excited about it. But hey.
They've done it.
We've got some stuff in chat. We haven't got much in chat, by the way. Oh, don't give me this, because there's not very much in chat, Joe.
Yeah, but you've got super chats to do. I've done the I've done the thing. I'm going to mute myself.
You've done the thing where you've liked him.
Yeah.
Is this all we've got? Oh. Evan,
Slow morning.
thank you for the 1 gifted membership. Barradin283, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. Memberships are fucking amazing, by the way. I say this every time. I'll say it again because May has been rough. But 85% of the channel revenue, roughly, is in memberships. And of that 85, somewhere in the region of 70 to 75% of that is gifted memberships. So gifted memberships are literally the highest revenue generating thing we have on the channel. And because it's stayed that high for so long, we've kept all the content for free. We keep it all unpaywalled. Tonight, there's a members only chat that everybody can watch it. And we do that because of the gifteds and you lot paying for other people to get access to things like the Great Hall Discord server, and they get early access to the sagas, and they get to talk in the members only chat videos. But that's the only thing we do. We don't paywall anything else. I have considered more members only live chats, but we still have the content out there for everybody to watch for free and to comment on after the fact. So big shout out to Rossonera for 20, Schooner for 5, Evan for 1, Barradon for 1 for those gifteds. The gifteds are the most important. Thank you so much for gifted memberships. They're amazing. Erebus, thank you for the 5 Australian. Making Joe thank Erebus for anything is worth super chatting on its own, but also love your work, boys. Oh, did you want him to read that one? I want him to say thank you to Erebus. Erebus is Joe's favourite character, that's a fact. MMX, thank you so much for the gifted. You're a legend. Love you. That puts us on 25, 6, 7, 28 of the finest memberships. Thank you so much, people. You're amazing. Fishplace, thank you for the 2. GW Arrogance, you should feel lucky to be there. I don't think it's that, though. I don't know. I don't feel like it's an arrogance thing. I just think it's just poor. I don't know. This is the thing, right? It doesn't make sense to me. Right? Did you mute it? Because I didn't get up and mute you. You did, good.
I did. No one listened to me,
It doesn't actually make any sense to me. This is the thing that I don't understand. So Erebus said, making Joe thank Erebus for anything is worth super chatting. And he wanted you to be like, thank you, Erebus, for the 5. And I read it out, so I've ruined his $5 super chat.
Thank you,
Erebus.
Erebus. For the... Erebus, thank you, Erebus, for nothing.
Thank you, Erebus, for giving you this universe.
Thank you, man who owns an account called Erebus, for gifting 5 memberships.
No, he's $5 super chat. I'm not giving him 5 memberships. Don't big him up for more than he did. All right.
Thank you for giving the equivalent of 1.
Fishbase then for 2 said GW Arrogance. You should feel lucky to be there. But this is the thing. I don't think it's an arrogance thing. I don't think they're going, oh, we're GW. You know, you should be lucky to be here. You should be grateful we're putting this on. I don't think it's that.
At the end of the day, they want to make money, don't they? They want. I don't think it is arrogance at all. I just think it's inexperience in selling a product from whoever was.
But how can a company that is making $90 million a quarter from sales inexperienced from selling things, Joe?
I think it's just. I think it's their. Very specifically, it's not their events team. It's their sales events team. The ones the ones who have a job at selling the product. They had the same issue with 10th edition at Warhammer Fest.
But okay, so do you not think, right? Interesting point you bring up. Yeah. Do you not think post Warhammer Fest last year they would have had a ton of feedback? We had our own feedback about Warhammer Fest, right?
I think it's like maybe it's like a levels thing. Like the people lower down who did fuck up have told the people above them, "We did a great job." It's really
I feel like this year they should have done. What they should have done is another Warhammer Fest. Warhammer Fest for me should be an annual thing. It just should be, right? Yeah. Should do another Warhammer Fest. They should learn from last year's mistakes, fix those mistakes, and this Warhammer Fest's biggest focus should have been AoS 4. Yeah. And that would have got people a lot more excited overall. Because guess what? At Manchester, at Warhammer Fest, each day, for the Saturday and Sunday, 10,000 people came through the door. Yeah. At Warhammer World, tickets for the AoS event, there was 100. There's a bit of a difference, isn't there? So let's assume double the number of people that had tickets when.
I think they were a little bit salty with the community after Fest. Because obviously they had, like, the staff obviously worked hard. Games Workshop spent a lot of money in creating a subpar event, didn't they? Really, at Fest. And they were like, "Oh, how could you be upset when we worked really hard?" And the problem is they didn't work hard enough. Right? So you got Warhammer. When you used to go to Warhammer Fest, it was Games Day, wasn't it? Back in the day, it wasn't Warhammer Fest, it was Games Day. Right? Games Day is what we got. People playing games in tournaments. Yeah. We didn't get Warhammer Festival, a festival of Warhammer. It wasn't like Comic-Con, right? It wasn't a mass celebration of the hobby. It was we've got some events on, some stuff going. They had this massive hall where they were showing off models, right? A big amphitheater and a big stage. Why wasn't that like when they do like showing off computer games, like when Microsoft show off stuff? Get the designers out on the stage talking to people. Why weren't there authors of books? I remember going to Games Day and meeting Dan Abnett and Sandy Mitchell was there. I remember going and meeting these people. None of them were there.
So for me, right, Warhammer Fest is where you launch your big product and you do it annually. And let's face it, we now know, we pretty much can tell, it's a 3-year cycle, right? 40k, AoS, and then specialist game. 40k, AoS, specialist game.
Yeah.
That's going to be the release schedule from now on.
Yeah.
It just is, right?
Yeah.
Cool, okay. So every Warhammer Fest, you use that as the launch for whichever one of those is coming, okay? And you get people excited about it. I'd maybe even go a step further, and anyone who goes to Warhammer Fest gets to pick up a box on the day, if I'm honest with you. Why not, right? Yeah. And then what you do is you have a stage. So not only do we do everything we've talked about already, where you have the creators in early to generate hype to buy tickets to go to Warhammer Fest to see this product, but what you don't do is you don't just have 5 fucking tables with a 3-hour queue and some Warhammer people who are stood there demoing the games, whereby if you do get a chance to get to a table, you're controlling the left arm of a dreadnought because there's 18 people either side playing with a combat patrol. You don't do that because that's fucking stupid. What you do, right, is you have 10 times the number of tables, and all those creators who you've taught the game to, and you've already given them all the rules, you ask them if they would like to be a guest kind of staff member for Warhammer Fest. Yeah. Expenses paid, but you don't have to pay them a wage.
No.
So you cover their hotel and travel. And then you get people like me and you, and people like Hellstorm Mikey, and people like Warhipster, and people like the Titans, demoing the games for people, right? You also have a stage, much like you say, you have a stage. The presentation that we were given about the design ethos and what they've done and why they've made those decisions, I thought was incredibly interesting. You give that presentation to everybody, rather than some bullshit, terribly worded Warcom article where some twat in an office has interpreted what the rules writer team is right and then just added bullshit words. Right clicks in them, extra words, there we go, that's a fucking article. Rather than letting that twat write something, right, you let him give his presentation to a room full of people.
Yeah.
Right? You get the rules designers up on stage. You could do Q&As. You could get some other cunt with a microphone who walks around and goes, oh, Joe's got a question.
Yeah.
That's how you get people excited about it. You spend a weekend doing that, people are excited about AoS.
Yeah.
Or 40k, or Horus Heresy, whatever it might be.
Should we moonlight as event people for Games Workshop?
Well, based on what Peachy said, I don't think they'd pay us enough, Joe.
I'd do it for free just to prove it could be done.
I feel like we just about...
I'd do it once and be like...
Well, this is the thing, right? In seriousness, it's never going to happen. So it doesn't matter if I say this. In seriousness, if they ever came to me and said, "Can you help us hype this product and what should we do?" I would spend so much of my time and own money traveling up to Warhammer World and having meetings and talking to people and helping them because I want the product to do well because it helps my business. Okay, I don't. Guess what? They want to be fucking paid for it. Don't want to be paid for it. Don't care. Because I know what GW pay, and they're not going to pay me enough to want me to stop doing YouTube, despite the fact that I keep talking about May being the worst month we've had in a fucking long time, and it is. And they still probably wouldn't be able to pay me enough because GW don't pay a lot, right? But I would literally give up free time to do that. And I don't, you know, they spend too much time going to 40k competitive people to do playtesting for them, which is a monumental mistake because that's now in a shit state. And then when it comes to events, they won't go out and I don't understand. No. And everything's super secretive. And there was a time along 4 years ago. What year are we in now? 2024. Yeah, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. There was a position opened up in GW for a Warhammer a TV presenter. Okay. And I got a message from someone at Games Workshop saying, you should apply. Fuck it, I'll have a look. And I ended up speaking to the hiring manager. You'd have to shut down your channel. You'd have to shut down or hand over deployment zone and not have any of that anymore. You can't make any other money off of doing content.
Yeah.
Cool, so you're saying I have to give up everything just so I can be a Warhammer TV presenter. What's the salary like? It's not competitive. And I don't see, they have a literal sea of people out there that want the game to do well. We're two of them, right?
Yeah.
We are two people that want 40k and AoS and Heresy and Kill Team and Old World to do really, really well, right? We want them all to do really, really well, because if they do really, really well, guess what? GW does really, really well, and we do really, really well.
Because the thing is, though, we want to play other games, but then we go, well, we look at other channels that are doing other games, and we look at their numbers, and we go, cool, we're not doing other games. Not worth our time.
I absolutely adore Steve Pardo from SM Battle Reports. I love Steve. Right? I don't watch anywhere near enough of his content. We're too busy with everything all the time. I say I give up my free time, and someone said, you've got free time? I haven't really got free time. I'd make it just so I can make this work. Steve is currently in the process of selling all of his 40k armies because he hates 40k that much right now. And from a hobbyist perspective, I kind of get it. I absolutely get it. I do. But from a creative perspective, I'm cringing at the moment because I'm like, do you genuinely believe that Old World and Heresy can carry you as a channel? I hope it does for him. Legitimately hope it does for him. But business-wise, I'm like, it probably isn't because it just doesn't have that level of popularity that 40k does.
No. I would love to be a channel that's almost in support of Games Workshop in a case of we just cover everything all the time because we love all the things. And then everyone was like, we love it. Keep producing more. We will take all of the content. But we're in a stage now where people message us going, I'm leaving because you're doing something that's not Warhammer 40k.
So we had Vince in the studio on Thursday and we filmed a saga with him that I'll be editing. Well, I say editing. I'm thinking about bringing an editor in. Anyway, we'll be edited and we'll be going up probably in about 2 to 3 weeks because I need to leave the Peachy one time to drop off before I bring the Vince one out. And if you know Vince and you know Pleasant Kenobi as a channel, his predominant focus has always been Magic the Gathering. And talking to him about Wizards of the Coast is very interesting when you compare how they behave to Games Workshop. Wizards CEO will go on interviews with channels. The CEO will go on interviews with channels. If something goes fucking wrong, the design team will go on podcasts and shows and talk about it. GW are literal light years behind that. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a chief or head rules writer for 40k? Right, I'm going to throw this name out there now. Calm down, chat. Can you imagine after a farcical Meta Watch, Stu Black coming on for a live interview? Can you imagine it?
No, he wouldn't because he hates us.
Whereby, but
it would be nice.
Right, all joking aside, he's not doing Meta Watch anymore, so all joking aside, I have got zero problems with Stu whatsoever. I don't know him as a person. I have no idea if he's a good or bad guy. I don't know. So I have no problems with Stu. I've never really actually had a problem with Stu. What I have a problem with is the absolute verbal diarrhea that came out of his mouth when he was on Meta Watch, which, to be fair, he probably was restricted as to what he could and couldn't say. Right? So what he does, and GW are very good at this, is he says a lot without actually saying anything at all. It's politicians is what they are, essentially, right? So hands down, no problems with Stu Black whatsoever, right? That being said, or is the new guy Mike? Melody, is that who the new guy is? Maybe Mike, whoever, if that is the new guy. I haven't watched one for a while now because I was like, we don't really get anything from these.
I think the new guy's Mike,
So can you imagine them coming out and doing a Meta Watch and giving their corporate bullshit that they give out during Meta Watch, right? And then one of them comes on our show or Tactics or Vanguard or Hellstorm and actually sits down and they're allowed to be asked questions by the creator that aren't pre-scripted bollocks like when they interviewed them around 10th edition's release. Wizards do that. Magic's bigger than 40k. Wizards do that.
Magic make a bank as well.
Magic's bigger than 40k and Wizards do that. They go and talk to their community and they face the fucking music. Hey.
If you win a grand tournament in Magic the Gathering, not only do you get a cash prize, which is always in the tens of thousands, you get a free ticket and accommodation to the next one.
Do you?
Wherever that is in the world.
Yeah.
So say you win in Vegas, you get your prize money, and then you get your ticket to, I don't know, the next one, which is in New York City.
That's impressive.
It's good.
I'm getting into my Magic at the moment. This is an aside. Don't worry, not for content, because I've seen Titans try and make Magic work for content, and it looks like it's fucking hard. And I don't know anywhere near enough. And I don't want to turn all of my hobbies into content either, to be fair.
We'd be better off doing Lego content.
with 40k rules.
Yeah. People building Lego is massive now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got a big YouTube following.
Anyway.
Building Lego kits.
I just, this sounds like I'm hammering them because I want Games Workshop to be seen as evil and awful and terrible and dog shit. And that's not the case. What it is me being incredibly passionate about them doing a good job and then them not managing to do that and achieve the doing a good job part.
Yeah.
And I think that if we were honest, if you were to talk about people like Mini Wargaming, Play on Tabletop, Tabletop Titans, Vanguard Tactics, Tabletop Tactics.
John Biggett. Oh, Lego building stream went.
Tabletop Tactics, ourselves. Like Mikey has been, he's fucking horrifically controversial in his streams about Games Workshop. But if Games Workshop went to him and said, can you help us make this stuff better? You bet your fucking bottom dollar, Mikey would probably be like, yeah. Because we all want them to do well. We all want them to do well. We all want them to do a better job of looking after their custom base, a better job of looking after their fans, and a better job promoting their product and getting it out there. And as content creators, we absolutely want them to do well because it's better for us. Selfishly, hands up, if they do a better job at advertising and we start doing AoS content and they've managed to convince another 20,000 people that AoS is great, that's 20,000 potential more people that could watch the stream.
Yeah.
That's big for us.
That is good.
I want them to do well, Jay. And that event, I know you were upset that you couldn't go in the end after you actually ended up having no plans at all. But it probably wasn't really worth going. Apart from the fact I got to hang out with Mikey, Adam, Josh, Chris, Elliot.
I had the FOMO of not seeing the people that I love. That was my biggest sadness, was I didn't get to see Josh or Elliot.
Not Adam or Reza.
No. I like Adam and I like Reza, but obviously I didn't want to do a laundry list of people. I would have even liked to have seen Mikey.
Would you?
Yeah. So yeah, I would love to have gone there and seen people and done things and then stood next to models until you bought it for me. Just looking sad. Just like,
Luton, I see what you said as well. By the way, thanks for joining us, Luton. I'm sure every single one of the 300 plus people that's watching right now has already done this. But Luton himself is a Warhammer channel, and he does lore-based videos, which are, in my opinion, probably the best based Warhammer lore videos on YouTube because we haven't started doing them yet.
Did you do all these ones down here?
No, if they haven't been hearted, I haven't done them. So, if you haven't already, and I'm sure you have, go subscribe to Luton because Luton is fucking incredible. And I definitely am not going to wait till we're off camera till I invite him to come for a saga as well. I don't want to do it live on air because it puts pressure on him.
Yeah. Do it!
But he also said, he said he couldn't get into 9th edition. He's enjoyed 10th edition so far. 10th edition from a completely casual perspective is fine. I feel like it lacks some narrative flavour, but at least from a rules perspective, I don't have a problem with 10th edition. From a completely casual perspective, that I have a problem. And if you play the game enough like we do, that you kind of mostly know the designer's commentary and all the shit that's going on, I also think it's okay. I feel like it's bad we had the designer's commentary. We shouldn't need that in the first instance. The rule book should cover every situation and every angle. I feel like for new players, that also makes it bad because they're like, oh, we're doing this rule this way. Like, it's wrong. Says who? Designer's commentary. What the fuck are you talking about? This big download.
I find 10th edition is like my opinion on Necrons. Sterile and boring, and you have to put a lot of work into it to give it any kind of depth and flavour.
Yeah.
You know? Because Necrons are a great army to play with. People really enjoy using them. And you can make a cool Necron army. But it's a lot of work. And that's the same issue with 10th edition. A thing that exists that if you want it to be fun and not a sterile competitive game, you have it's on the players to draw that out.
I'm also having a ton of fun with 10th edition right now.
Yeah, we have loads of fun playing it, and our guests come on and they have loads of fun doing it. But it's only because we've taken a different stance on the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we've made the decision to change it. I'm going to go through this list now. It's starting to build up after you abused them.
Not with members, though.
Thanks, Skippy. Skippy gifted one.
Just the one, actually.
And
Thanks, Skippy.
Mets88.
I got that one already.
Okay. Did you do Travis Woodside? 2 old men yelling at clouds.
No, but it is.
Yeah.
It's what we do sometimes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Actually, to be fair, I try my best to be mostly positive.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you really think about it, bear with me here. If you really think about it, I'm disappointed because I'm positive, right?
Yeah, that's like it's like when your favourite child fucks up.
Yeah.
You know?
Right? I'm disappointed because I'm so positive about 4th edition AoS. I'm so positive about Spearhead that I'm disappointed they did a bad job of marketing it and a bad job of promoting it. And so it's not me going, Games Workshop are just fucking shit and awful. I'm saying they've made an amazing product. And I want everyone out there to know, because I feel like this weekend didn't do it justice. I want everyone out there to know they've made an amazing product. And if you are teetering on the edge, if you are slightly AoS curious but you don't know if you're going to take the leap, I would urge every single one of you to at least give it a go when it comes out, because I think it's phenomenal.
I think buying from Siege, not Siege, Element, right? Link in the description below. Buying a Spearhead or a Vanguard box of your favourite models, right? If you can afford it, don't just not eat for the rest of the week. If you can afford it, and it's something you're thinking about getting into, buying the box now of the models that you've always wanted to get, build it and paint it before the price goes up, and then when the game comes out, play it. And if you really enjoy it, you'll be like, oh, this is worth the investment. Joe was really, really clever. We should all listen to Joe all the time. But if you play it and you don't enjoy it, you can sell it probably for more money than you bought it for.
I think Spearhead is going to be wildly popular.
Yeah.
Wildly popular.
And even if you do enjoy it, it's something that you can keep in a box, a small box, it doesn't have to be big, with the rules, and then you can just dig it out when you get to play with your mates or go down the club.
Yeah.
I think it's worthwhile. So I get to play Bolt Action like once every 6 months. So I've got my army and all the rules in the box ready to go whenever I need it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
No, I think, I would genuinely, if you think about it, I would genuinely decide whether you can or can't afford to get yourself a Vanguard box and get it painted up, because they've already said there's a hardback book in the box, which is every single Vanguard that currently exists as a Spearhead.
Yeah.
But the rules will also be available for free, remember. Much like 10th edition, the rules are going to come out available for free.
Yeah.
So you just have to buy the models and you can play new Spearhead. And I think Spearhead is amazing.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's great. And Joe and I can say that, having played a full game of Spearhead each against 2 different people.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
They were people, not robots.
I'm also going to add the one caveat before someone comes back to me in 6 months' time and calls me an arsehole. I was also incredibly positive about 10th edition. All right, so I get excited. I've tried to approach AoS 4 after my 10th edition experience with that experience in mind.
Yeah.
Like, I was aware as to how excited I was about it, and it turned up to be a bit problematic in places, to say the very least. However, even with that approach and having that little nag in the back of my mind, I've come away going, fuck me, they've done it. And we sat there, you remember, we sat there with the briefing and I tried to ask some difficult questions. Have you done this? Yeah, here. Have you thought about this? Yeah, this. Have you done this? Yeah, this. I'm like, fuck me. This team's on it. I also said to them, when it comes out, will there be 22 pages of designer's commentary? And they all awkwardly laughed at me. I went, no, that's not us. Facts.
Straight facts. It's like, I think so. You were very positive about 10th edition because at the time the 9th edition was so mental that 10th edition was like a breath of fresh air. All the things they were saying were great, right? But this difference is that AoS 3, if you are an AoS 3 player, is great. It is heralded as the best version of the game.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not a situation of like, the game is bad, get excited for the new one because it's going to be better than what we got. AoS 3 is incredible and amazing. We're just getting more of the good stuff tidied up.
Well, this is the thing, right? So when they indexed, here's the thing, and this is nothing that's been said officially, this is just me in my mind. When they indexed 10th edition, I felt like they made it almost a goal to make a bunch of sweeping changes to make indexing it seem like it was required and necessary.
Yeah.
Okay? When they've indexed 4th edition, I don't feel like they've taken the same approach.
Yeah.
They've gone, that ain't broke, we're not fixing it. It's fine in 3rd, it's going to carry over to 4th.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference, almost. So I feel like 40k, we went through 8th edition, 9th edition, lots of refinements to a place where, although it was a bit mental, the rules on the whole had been tweaked.
I really liked 9th edition.
Yeah, so the rule I did. The rules have been tweaked to a point where it was like they're good now. We've got to that point where we've worked out how all these interactions work and where the problems are going to be. And 10th edition could have done for 4th edition AoS. They could have gone, let's clean it up now, let's make it neat, make some tweaks and changes here and there, right? But and that's what the AoS team have done.
Yeah.
And fair play to them, because when they index it, they could have gone, we're indexing it, let's fucking change everything. So nothing that currently exists is relevant. And I didn't do that. And I'm positive for that, right? So, anywho, there's more people?
There is, yes. Elec Man, thank you. Says, sorry to hear you were so disappointed. I hope this doesn't dampen your excitement for AoS 4 too hard. P.S. You going to look at today's faction focus? ?
Probably not today looking at the time, to be fair, Elec Man, but we will be looking at faction focuses.
It hasn't dampened. I'm smashing through Cities of Sigmar at the moment.
So, like I just said, right, to be clear, my disappointment about the event isn't the what was shown or what the product was or what the game is. My disappointment about the event is because I know how good the game is. I know how good I say I know. I think the game is incredibly good. I think the product is incredibly good, and I don't think they've done a good job of showcasing the game and the product in its
about
entirety.
How good it is.
So this is Elec Man, to be clear, this is because I'm so positive about 4th edition AoS at the moment that I'm upset about what they've produced as an event, to be fair. It doesn't make me go, oh, fuck AoS. That's not the case. But it does also make me think as a creator, there's a strong possibility we're going to have to work a little bit harder to try and harness and generate and nurture that audience.
Yeah.
But so be it. That's part of our job. Warhammer channels and 40k channels existed long before Games Workshop did anything in the public space. So, hey.
They'll catch up eventually. Maybe. Erebus has donated some money.
So what do we say to people that donate some money, Jay? What do we say to them?
Thank you.
Thank you who?
A man with a username that is Erebus.
Thank you, Erebus.
Or a woman. We don't know. I haven't seen them.
Thank you, Erebus.
Thank you. Joe, that was worth another one. Thanks, boys, and thank you. Thank my favourite character and our Lord and Saviour, Erebus. I won't. But I thank the owner of the user account. Thank you.
Thanks, Erebus. I like Erebus.
I hate, not you, the person, the owner of the account, Erebus. I hate the fictional character.
But you wouldn't have a heresy without him.
We would. It would just be a lot shorter. It would have ended a lot quicker.
GW should pair it with DPD. They both failed to deliver.
Yeah. or Hermes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Resident Rum Drinker. I remembered going to Games Day back in the day, just before Warhammer Online released, and experienced Warhammer Fest to be something similar. Then I walked through the door.
Thank you, Resident Rum Drinker.
I remember going to Games Days. And
it's my turn now, Jay. All this water from Jim in it.
Yeah.
You can
I remember Games Days were this magical golden experience. I went.
If, by the way, when I go to the toilet, they gift all these memberships, I'm going to be fucking angry.
Yeah.
If they wait for me to go.
Yeah. Have a quick, yeah. I remember going when Dawn of War was released, and they had the Rhino there, which was obviously painted red and not blue. They had the giant Space Marine. You could play the game there. There was just open things, and people could stand around the computers and watch people playing the game. It was great. Obviously, you had the demo tables. They had a massive store. They had participation games, which is something that's kind of disappeared. They had like this. They had multiple. They had like a giant city that was being attacked by demons, and you could play as guard or Space Marines or as the demons. There was a massive, really long table. It was like 24 feet long, obviously 4 foot wide, and the last third of it was a Tau installation floating on an island, and then there's like a floating section of it that came out, and then at the other end of it was like 40 Valkyries with guard in it, right? And you had to basically assault this Tau installation, and you could literally come in, take over a Valkyrie, have a unit and fly, and then once you've done your thing, you could just leave. So people could just drop in and out all the time. There was no waiting or like queues. People could watch. The new Space Wolves there, and you could buy the new Space Wolves on the day. It was the day that they were released is when you could buy them at Fest. And then they had all the Forge World team, and like I said earlier, they had all the authors. There's a massive author area where you could go and have your book signed. Right? They even had old paints for sale in bulk, old kits that they couldn't sell anymore. I remember like buying packs of 6 black ink, brown ink, chestnut ink, flesh wash. Like stuff they didn't even sell anymore because they had loads of it left behind, and it's just Games Days now. Warhammer Fest is just not that. Telling them about my Games Day experience.
I was listening.
Lovely,
Our chat dicks.
beautiful decks. See, Joe brings the numbers.
Exactly, dicks, all of them.
So I need my own show.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can put your own show on the channel.
yeah. I put my own show on the channel. What should I do? I could paint models.
I'll have to help you build it,
That's true.
and then teach you how to use it,
Yeah.
and then probably teach you how to use it again, and then probably at least a third time.
Yeah. Or you should teach me just before I go live.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that probably will be what happens to start with.
You think so? You do painting content now, so and we do game streams. Should I do like behind the scenes like gaming?
I feel like your painting content is probably better than my painting
How to
content.
paint black.
Psh,
Yeah,
done.
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 I was thinking about doing doing a practice video on how to like teach people how to paint a black model.
I feel like though this is pre-recorded content rather than streamed.
Yes, obviously it'll be pre-recorded, like a short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's evergreen as well because it's how to paint something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Warhammer Fest was not as good as and they just the first Warhammer,
very average Joe show.
the Warhammer Fest, the first one for 8th edition. Well, when they were previewing 8th edition, was really good because it was at the Rico. It was in Coventry, wasn't it? The first one, Warhammer Fest. It was like the end
yeah,
of
it was
7th
Rico.
edition.
So I did the last one at Rico,
Yeah.
and then I think COVID happened afterwards.
Yeah, and that was obviously for them. It must have been a nightmare. But I remember it's because there was a massive gaming hall where all the events were going on, and then the shops were at the back, and this hall was huge, right? And then there was lots of levels at the Rico. So in one level is where they were having all the intro games to 8th edition. All the tables were out. The next level up is where you could go meet the designers, and they were showing off like games and things coming in the future, models coming out in the future, all the designs, like the hand-drawn designs of kits that either didn't happen or were going to come in the future. You could go and talk to each individual game designer. Like you could meet the guy who did Blood Bowl. You could meet the guy who did.
Do you think this is interesting? Do you think that the way that they're doing it? So what they do now is they keep everything super secret, announce.
Yeah.
So we know the sisters and GSC are the next 40k codex.
Yeah.
We don't know anything after that.
No.
Do you think they do this on purpose to try and get you to buy the here and now and
Yeah.
not wait for the future?
That's how I 100%. That's how I think it is. So Games Workshop goes off the old idea of if people know what's coming, they will save money for it. Right? If they don't
you
know
think that's
what's
true,
coming, they will be more likely to spend money now because they think that if I save money now, I won't get to buy anything for 4 months.
But do you think that's true?
A little bit. I think it's a little bit. The Games Workshop want impulsive buying.
But
Because the thing is that, right, if you know Blood Angels are coming out, and you know when they're coming out, you will save all your money to spend it all in one go when Blood Angels come out. But if you don't know when Blood Angels are coming out, you go, I'm going to save some money, but I'm also going to buy this. I'm also going to buy this. I'm also going to buy this. That person's still going to spend as much money on Blood Angels as what they were going to spend when they were saving money, but they're spending a little bit more.
Don't paint shorts, paint models instead.
Yeah.
Do you not think, though, that net spend per person would probably end up being about the same as an average? I'm thinking about what you're talking about these old games days and stuff like that. And I'm thinking that's a much better way of interacting and engaging with your community.
So exciting as well, because I remember being really excited to go to Games Day and then when they did the Warhammer Fest, because I did the tournament. I did the last ever 7th edition tournament. Oh no, I didn't. I did Heresy in that one. My friend did the 7th edition one, and we did that. And there's so much going on that I could finish my game and go and look at stuff, right? See things, experience the event, and then when my next game started, I could be back at my table knowing I'd seen things. At Fest for 10th edition, I'd finish my game and I can't leave. I can't go and look at 10th edition because the queue's like 4 hours long, right? I can't get to the shop because the queues are like 2 hours long, right? Also, I don't know how expensive anything is at the shop because there's no prices on anything, right? Like, I can't go to the amphitheatre because they're set times and they close the doors so no one else can go in once the doors are closed. I could go get food, but the queues for that were mad also.
I just feel like... So, okay, Lictor t-shirts, Joe. Exclamation mark merch. Lictor t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
There was 2 ways I can go about Lictor t-shirts when I made the Lictor t-shirts.
Yeah.
Way number 1 was the cheapest possible t-shirt I can print it on.
Yeah.
Which means the biggest possible margin for me. More profit per product. Way number 2 was to select the premium t-shirts, the highest cost to me to print them on, which means the lowest possible margin. And there was obviously other options in between, but they're the 2 extremes, okay? If I go way number 1, in the early stages, I make more money because I have a bigger profit margin. Eventually what happens is the audience out there, the customer base, gets fatigued with shit product. They get annoyed. They eventually get pissed off.
Yeah.
You seem money hungry because you're selling a shit product for a high price.
Yeah.
And they stop buying your product, right? And I think Games Workshop has probably had that experience with some people at least. Way number 2, you know what? I make less money. But potentially, I sell 10, 20 times more product because people that have bought one will go, quality is really fucking good. So when we release the next one, coming out really, really soon, the Greater Good t-shirt, they'll go, I'm going to buy one of those because my licked one's really, really good.
Yeah.
So I sell 2 t-shirts at a lower profit margin rather than selling 1 t-shirt at a higher profit margin. Do they make the same amount of money? This fund still currently is probably making more money.
Yeah.
But then someone buys a 3rd t-shirt and now I'm making more money off this person, right? GW, with their constantly keeping everything secret, constant dropping every fucking 2 weeks, putting single characters into £140 boxes full of models everyone's already got, I feel like it's going to fatigue people over time. And I feel like if they went back to that old attitude, someone in chat says, Magic, we know the deck's coming out for the next 18 months.
Yeah.
Right? And they're still making bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because if your product, thinking about the t-shirts, if your product is good enough, and let's face it, GW's model, I know people out there hate GW, so people that watch this will be like, fuck Games Workshop. Games Workshop's plastic models on the whole, there are some exceptions, Desolation Marines, for example, but their plastic model range on the whole is the best model range in existence for quality, right? AoS pisses all over even everything else that they have. Best quality out there. So if your product is good enough, it will sell. Did they need to stick Chaos Lords in £140 box sets, or could they have just sold them for 30 quid each?
I think they should have done both.
Okay.
Right? So I've got a lot of friends who have been Chaos curious for a while.
Oh, I mean, this is the right choice.
Right? And they've gone, I'm buying that box set. In fact, I'm buying both of those box sets. Or I'm buying both of the ones with the Chaos Lord in it on foot because I want the Terminators, I want the Possessed. I want that. They bought both, right? And for a new player of that faction, those box sets are incredible, right? But they do not serve the existing player base for that army.
Nope.
Because I've got everything in both of those boxes, right? So I have no need to buy it. And the thing is, though, if I want the Chaos Lord out of that box set, I have to either buy it off eBay or wait till Games Workshop sell it as an individual model, which could be a month, 2 months down the line.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know. So why don't they release both at the same time? Here's the individual box for people that currently play this faction, and here is the box. But for the people that are starting the faction, right? Because the thing is though, people aren't going, I'm just going to buy the Lord on its own, because there's going to be people who, like me, won't buy the big box, so that won't. So there are a few people that might buy the big box.
Joe,
What?
GW just WhatsApped to me.
Yeah.
When I say GW, my person in GW, but I don't like to give names out. Did you go in the end? How was it? Like, oh dear, this is the wrong time to be messaging me that question.
I think they might be watching. I just think they need to do both. They need to sell for
That was
existing.
quite the message to get right now. Sorry, carry on.
Normally it's like, tell us how you really feel. So I think if they did both, like for instance, the new Sisters of Battle box set is coming out.
Yeah.
Which they announced with the jump lady,
Yeah.
right? By the way, that box set much better than the Chaos one with the jump person in it.
I agree,
You
yeah.
get 3 jump units in that one.
It's a decent box.
Really nice box, right? We've got a Sisters of Battle army,
Yep.
right, which was gifted to us to use
By Mr. the Degs.
by Mr.
Legend.
the Degs. We already have loads and loads of boxes of Seraphim to build,
Yep.
right? Loads. We don't have to buy anymore. We have zero reason to buy that box set unless far from one character.
Which I just won't bother.
Yeah, so we have to wait for it to come out. Whereas if they sold the Jump Lady on its own, we go, cool, we'll get the Jump Lady, add it to the army,
Yep.
we can show it off, right?
Exactly.
I
I agree.
just think they need to do both, not just the thing.
I think there's a number of things they need to do. I think that if you give a proper roadmap, if you're more transparent, if you do things like the Games Day type experiences and you show people what's coming and you get people excited early and you keep that hype high and you just trust in your products to get people excited about multiple things, I think that you won't necessarily see a monumental drop in profit in the early stages, but over the longer period, back to the t-shirt comparison, over the longer stages, what you do is you generate more loyalty, more brand loyalty, more trust from people, and that's got to be better for business long term.
I think a roadmap's really good, right?
Sidebar, the 40k reveals were dog shit.
They were.
How disappointing! When start 10th edition, right? Every single faction is going to get new kits. I was excited.
Kit.
All right, kit. I'm no longer excited anymore because most of them was just a shit character.
Well, the thing is, I had this discussion with my friend Dan this morning, actually, about the disappointment of the event and also the lack of thinking from the community. All right, this is almost a disappointment enforced by ourselves.
Exclamation mark gift.
Right.
As pedants.
It's kind of based on this. There's a Teen Titans Go episode about Thundercats Raw. About all the disappointment about that. It's like, it's not exactly the way I expected it to be. Everyone got really, really angry about Thundercats Raw. Basically went mental at Warner Brothers and stuff. The same kind of thing's happening now. We're in a situation, right? We've got Genius of the Cult, Sisters of Battle, right?
Yep.
Coming out now, they get one new model, right? Sisters of Battle and Genius of the Cult were being released over the last 6 years, both of them kind of roughly, right? There's no resin in those ranges. There's no metal in those ranges. Everything in those armies is brand new. So like I was kind of like, it'd be cool if they got new models, but they probably won't get new models because they've got everything they need. Whereas when you look at like when we get Eldar, I expect we'll get new aspect warriors, new characters, because there'll be an entire port over of existing models. So they'll get new kits. And I think we're at a stage now where I personally think, right, all the stuff that's going to come out codex-wise is going to get very little. And then in the latter year, that's when we'll get all the new kits.
So I don't disagree with you with Sisters and Genius of the Cult.
Yeah.
Custodes.
Yeah, it's a very different story, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Jay.
but the thing is, though, let's be honest, Forge World, Games Workshop, is making bank on resin kits. Why replace them for cheaper plastic kits?
Well, because the process of making the plastic
Doesn't matter. They're like money.
But the plastic kits are cheaper. They'll be cheaper to sell than the resin. But the plastic to produce is even cheaper. The profit margin is higher.
But Custodes is a niche army.
No, it's not.
And I think the percentage of Custodes players that exist in the world is a lot smaller than we think it is.
I don't think it is. I think it's huge.
Yeah.
The amount of people that are like, I want another 40k army, don't want to pound.
Then you've got to think, right? If they release a plastic Telemon, right?
Yeah.
I'd be a Custodes player very quickly if they did a plastic Telemon because that thing is amazing, right? I'd buy it because I like the model, right? And I'd probably start a Custodes army because of it. But the thing is, though, if that model comes out and it's got the same rules it's got now, existing custodies players already have the resin version and don't use it because it's toilet. Right? So they'd have to release it with incredible rules.
No, I don't think they would. I don't think they would.
Because
Don't think they would.
I think they'd have to release it with good rules for people to use it in the first place.
No, I don't think so. For people to use it, yes.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're asking.
Yeah.
The difference is between people using it and buying it.
I suppose if they release the rules for it afterwards, we'll release it in plastic first.
But this is my point is, right, I don't disagree with you. For people to use it on the tabletop in tournaments, yes, they'd have to monumentally improve the rules. For them to sell plastic telemons to people, they don't need to touch the rules. They would sell it.
Is make the rules really good, right? A la Leviathan Dreadnoughts in 40k. Then release plastic Dreadnoughts, so people buy a lot of them, then make them shit afterwards. Or make me...
No, not make them shit afterwards, Joe. We don't need that last stage. They can do all that by themselves.
Yeah,
anyway, there's more...
We've got more stuff. Oh. It's an emotional roller coaster today. We're all over the place. Thank you, Dang Skippy, for the one gifted membership. Thank you, Tox Trio. Says, first faction focus is out, and if I read it right, it says each army will start with 4 sub-factions, and I can tell you how happy I am that we aren't going to be stuck with the same detachment for multiple years. Which makes sense. Yeah, they're doing a 40k approach. Having not read it, I'm going to assume, out loud, that they're going to go down the road of it doesn't matter what colour your army is. So like my cities of Sigmar are living city, but my hope is I'd be able to use the whichever detachment.
But we also, let's not forget as well that the way in which the regiments work in AoS in itself encourages thematic list building.
Yeah.
So I think there's a number of things in place, which means that AoS players who don't get a battle tome in the first year, for example, aren't going to get bored.
Yeah.
But that's one of the only things with indexing that will concern people is that you don't get your book for a while, you get kind of stuck with what you've got. But we'll see. But thank you anyway, Toxtrio, you're a legend.
Thank you. Crummets Panda says everything is super secretive until some lad from Manchester or a knob off Instagram posts everything on a grainy photo pic 2 months early. Yeah, it's an odd... I've been convinced for a long time that someone is just being paid by Games Workshop to supply stuff to Valric.
On the one hand, I wouldn't be surprised because it's the biggest marketing tool they have that costs them nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. On the other hand, do I really think they're that clever at the moment? And sometimes I fucking wonder. True.
I think some people in Games Workshop probably are that clever, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric Man. Again, you mentioning Lego reminded me of a Lego war game someone made. Should I post that to the Great Hall for you all to see?
You can do. I don't think we'll play it, to be fair, but yeah. It's fun, isn't it? It's different. Thank you, Eric Man. You're a legend.
Bovington Tank Museum sell World War II Lego.
It's not Lego.
It's not Lego. It's like fake Lego, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fake Lego.
It's like Click Blicks or something like that.
Because Lego won't do anything that symbolises war.
No.
Because you used to be able to submit designs to Lego and they might turn it into a kit. And a friend of mine designed a full, like about this big, and Apache with Lego. It's fucking incredible, this thing that he made by collecting bricks and making this thing. And he submitted to them for a design idea. They went, it looks fucking cool, but we will not sell anything that symbolises war.
It's like the first bricks that they ever did, they refused to do what was referred to as German Army grey.
Yeah.
And the first thing that Lego produced was made out of wood.
Yeah.
It was a duck.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you all. Yeah. Thank you, Kazarian. Spearhead sounds fun already, though seeing that article and the low model count for the 2 Spearhead forces Stormcast gets me even more hype.
Yeah.
Stormcast are a great army to get into because they're relatively easy to paint as well. You can smash a box out really quickly. So quickly. I'm smashing through cities.
Is this like you telling me when you can paint a whole army in 2 weeks, even if you've got a full-time job? Or is this like you actually can smash it quickly?
Yeah. Luton said something earlier, which I want to go back to.
All right.
But he says, is Games Workshop as a company now too big to support a games day event. Right?
Maybe.
Right. And I would say yes to a weekend event. Imagine if Fest was a Saturday to Friday event.
Like a week long?
A week long.
Okay.
You hold it during half term. So you know people, or the summer holidays. So you know people are going to be able to get the time off. Right? And you go, Saturday and Sunday, we're having the announcements. That's our 2 announcement days for everything that's coming up that we're going to show off, right? Or, like you said, it's a 3-year scale. So this is the Age of Sigmar Warhammer Fest. Everything going on all week is going to be Age of Sigmar. We obviously wish I've Heresy. It's all of our stuff. We're going to have our theatres, all designers, but this is all the hype. Saturday, Sunday, you have your Age of Sigmar for that current edition grand tournament. The entire gaming hall, like Fest, which was all 40k AoS, is nothing but doubles AoS, singles AoS, team AoS, spearhead, right? Then, Sunday night, clear all the terrain away, stuff, and then you go, Monday, Tuesday is your 40k, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Heresy. Friday is your independent games.
Okay.
Right? So you spread it out, so you know, categorically, you're going to sell tickets for those individuals, but you also know people are going to turn up. Because the worry about having a week-long event is that you go, Tuesday's really going to be quiet for some reason, but if you know you're holding events for those specific, people are going to turn up for that. And being a week-long, you go, the Saturday, Sunday is all about new AoS. Monday, Tuesday is all about all the new 40k stuff coming up, demos and things. You just spread it out over a week, right? And it'll cost them more money to hire out the bigger building.
But is it a positive impact?
It's a positive impact. You go like, I'll book the week off, going every day. I want to see it all.
Look, I said,
and there'll be people that'll buy a week-long ticket.
Like I said, we're talking about a company that registers 90 to 100 million pound profit in a quarter.
Yeah.
Jay, turnover in a quarter.
Yeah, and you can justifiably then do Warhammer Fest every other year.
Yep.
Instead of every year.
You're talking, £100 million a quarter.
Yeah.
So 400 million a year. When you say it costs a bit more, it's not a lot more. It's not like a.
But they'd make the money.
Huh?
They'd make the
Well,
money.
no, it is. Even if they didn't make it back, sometimes you run things promotionally. Sometimes you run things to start with that are lost.
Yeah.
You know.
And there'll be people that'll be like, I can't make it this weekend because of work, or I've got the kids, but I can. I haven't got the kids on the Wednesday, I can go. There's so many people that can't go to things like Warhammer Fest because it's on a weekend or the distance. If you always hold it somewhere in the middle of the country that people can travel to, it'll be great.
Yeah. Cool. Stevie, sorry. So have we got through all of this, then, have we?
No.
Oh, you just went off on your own.
We've got to the bit where you went to the toilet.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Wee Man, for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, David R, for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Lockyer for 5 gifted. One, no, just a 1. You don't get 5.
Oh, I was about to say.
Thank you, Lext, for 10 gifted members. Thank you, Rosanero, for 10 more.
That's 30 from him.
He's
carrying the chat today. How many does it say over there? I can't. 62? 60?
60. Right?
60 on the nose.
I hope, right, Rosanero, when you go to your local Games Workshop store, it's got the limited edition model that you always wanted.
Yeah.
It's on the shelf.
I hope when you next wipe, you don't accidentally push your finger through the paper.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much.
I didn't think you had paper at the side of the road, Joe.
No, I always have baby wipes in the car. Not because of that, because I have children.
GWP really got lost. We talk about Warhammer Plus.
So, thank you, Travis Woodstock. Would you be upset if
You
they
mean
had
Woodside? Is that what you mean? When you said Woodstock, did you mean Woodside?
Travis Woodside?
Thank you.
Would you be upset if they had some rollout of Dungeon Bowl?
What's Dungeon Bowl?
That's his 10th birthday?
10th Super Chat.
Oh.
Thank you, Travis.
I would assume he's got a US, is that Marine Corps? US Navy? I would assume he wouldn't be 10 if he was in one of those.
I don't know what that is.
I think that's Marine Corps. Well, thank you. You could tell us. They did Dungeon Bowl.
Did they?
Yeah, they did it a couple of years back. It was a very small release, but check it out. Check it out. Yeah,
Check it out.
yeah. I really like Blood Bowl. I was looking at the gnome team on the weekend because those models are just beautiful. I was like, do I get how? So I was thinking to myself, if I buy these models, how can I use them if I'm not playing Blood Bowl? I was like, can I fit them into an army?
Did you do
somewhere?
the same thing this weekend with the Necromunda models? The Gene Stealers. Did you see them?
Yes. I was like, because I think they're on bigger bases as well. I was like, Broodlords?
They're fucking pretty.
They're cool. They're really kind of sketchy, like Gene Stealers, because they obviously live really, really deep in the underhive, so they're a little bit like messed up. But I was like, how can I fit them into my Tyranids?
Hey, Red, thank you for 5 gifted. 65, yeah. The last 2 Liam and Joe shows, we did hit 100 on both. I don't think we're going to do it this time. We're 35 away,
Yeah.
and we're 35 away whilst being 12 minutes over schedule because you keep going off on fucking random marks.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying
I missed to see what Travis said. Hang on. Just turn off. Change my filter.
Oh, God. It's here for another 10 minutes. It was late, but it's 7 a.m. here. Yeah, people haven't been paying the late fine lately, to be fair, Aaron. So thank you for being honest. I appreciate you. You're amazing. We're on 65 of the finest gifted, you beautiful human beings. I love you very much.
I can't see. I missed it. It didn't say. Marines. Thank you. The Marine Corps.
Yes, you were right.
So he's not 10. That would be his 10th super chat, not his 10th birthday.
I assumed.
Yeah.
I don't think YouTube's ever showed me when it's people's birthday, Jay. So, yeah.
That would be cool, though. It's my birthday. Money.
What, they pay us?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, man, with a username called Erebus.
He's getting his money's worth here, isn't he?
Every army gets new models. Had me thinking Forge World and Failcast getting plastic. Not surprise. It's like, nah. Surprise is all legends have a single character. Dick move after giving them all great index rules to sell them.
Yep.
It's an interesting one as well because I thought that like we're going to get rid of Finecast entirely. Like I was like when Drakari got announced in the kill team. Although we haven't got the Drakari book yet, have we?
Finecast should be against trading standards, quite frankly.
Yeah, because honestly they replaced Mandrakes, which was a big win. Right.
With those beautiful new ones.
They are beautiful models, which I actually found the spruce for those. I need to build and paint those. But me and you had a discussion about starting a new army.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. So when their codex comes out, we have to assume they're getting plastic grotesques. Because that's currently for a unit you can have 10 of times 3. You can have 30 grotesques on the table. They currently sell 1 model.
Okay.
He's like that.
Dabbing almost.
Almost like a dab. Yeah.
He's mid.
Yeah. And then obviously
Thanks for
you've got
hanging
the
out,
court. Go have fun, Travis. The Court of the Archon needs to be replaced, and then the beasts, and that's probably it. And then it's all plastic. But then I'm like, what do they add as a new unit? Because you got to think, right? Because we're like every faction gets new units. It's like, what do you add to an army that kind of already exists, kind of thing? It was very set in the lore. Because anything they do add now isn't going to exist already.
Vect.
Yeah.
And his party boat.
Yeah. With all the half-naked ladies on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and his slaves. Because you got to think, right, one of the great things about AoS that 40k doesn't have access to, right, is that AoS is super open-ended. It's all new. It's all new story. Right? They can just add whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas 40...
No, you can't change the law.
Whereas 40k, they're like, no, can't change things.
Can't change it at all. No, you
Can't change the law. Can't add new things.
No, and if you do, you have to be right. It's always been there.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like they're trapped in a way, right? They didn't even add a new Custodes model. They just wrote about her. It was uproar. It was mad. So I think with 40k, their biggest struggle at the moment is adding new models is always going to be a problem. Because you either replace models that already exist or you try and release a new unit. But the thing is, though, Space Marines have a bit of an open-ended thing. Cole's invented a new thing. He took some LSD, drew some pictures, bang, new unit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas Eldar can't do that because they can't just invent a new unit out of nothing.
Well, I mean, they can. It's their narrative. They can do that.
Yeah.
But people get very upset about it.
Yeah.
Despite
They
the
go,
fact that the 41st million is
it would
supposed
have to be a
sandbox.
Wraith construct, I reckon. Or they invent like a new Phoenix Lord. Like this Phoenix Lord just turned up out of nowhere. Who is he? Like a Jesus type, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there are some aspect shrines that don't have a Phoenix Lord.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's loads you could do.
Yeah.
Like they brought out the Incarn, Yvrain, and Vizark.
Yeah.
That's all. They're all brand new. They can do it.
Yeah.
What I want them to do when they do this thing is I want them to bring out narrative that supports it, that's decent. And I don't necessarily mean ADB or Dan Abnett strong, but not like just cuz.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's all I care
Yeah,
about.
what they like to do, I noticed, is they go, here's some lore for this thing. It's a Warcom article. Done.
Yeah. Cool.
Right then. Thank you, Chris. Says, I remember super chatting about Games Workshop feeling like a lost lieutenant in a land nav. Still feels true, but played 40k for almost 30 years. I hope they can get a finger back on the pulse playing of the player base again.
I think they will. I mean, they've made a staff change at Warhammer World.
Yeah.
They've brought in a new manager. Everyone I spoke to up at Warhammer World about that particular topic is quite positive about it. So we'll see. I feel like they can't afford to not be in tune because they're a big company, but they're not that big. Does that make sense? Is there anything to say that?
Yeah.
Right?
They're a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah. So I feel like they can't afford to be that tone deaf. So I think it's like we're in a 40k rough patch. Okay. Guess what? We've had 40k rough patches in the past. So I don't think, and we've had 40k rough patches, and then we've moved into good times.
Do you know what came out of the worst rough patch ever, which was like 6th edition, 7th edition? It was a dark time because Games Workshop was like, we sell models, not rules. We don't make rules for our game. So we got out of that, the Start Collecting box, which was incredible.
I just feel like we're in a rough patch. Rough patches happen. And I think every like when it comes to tabletop games, card games, trading card games, even video games, to some extent, every single one of them goes through rough patches.
Yeah.
And it's about how they react. And more often than not, companies sine wave. They peak and trough and they go rough patch, we're having a rough patch, and then something will happen. And it might be that what comes out after 10th edition isn't the best they've ever done, but because of 10th edition, we think it's great. And we're up on that climb again. And then at some point, 2 editions, 3 editions will probably go, we're hitting peak, we're really happy, and then they'll have to change something. Because if they don't change it, they don't sell new stuff, then it comes back down again, then we peak back up again, and that's what happens. And it happens all the time. And on occasions, it happens with video games, they don't like innovate. For example, the community in video games around Battlefield are suggesting that the new one that comes out next year, if it isn't phenomenal, will kill the game. Because they've had bad, and then it will just be shit. And you can imagine that DICE as a company are aware of that and are probably working fucking hard to not do that. And it might be that it comes out people don't like it, but they're probably working hard for that not to happen.
Yeah, but
GW will be the same. They'll be aware of people's feelings and thoughts. And despite here's the thing as well, right? Despite what Warcom tells you, and despite what interviews with people like Stu Black or Mike tell you, they'll be aware. And when they go on camera and they come out there and they say, everything's great, everything's good, they have to say that. They have to say that. And they will be aware. They have frequent meetings. When I say frequent, I mean, I think pretty much daily, about what has been discussed in social media.
Yeah.
They're very aware. And so, and we've said this before, and I don't want to be making excuses for them, but they're not a speedboat. They're a giant fucking tanker.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a long time to steer that tank. I'm not sure how you steer tankers, but sometimes
they got a big wheel.
Sometimes it takes a long time to steer that tanker, and sometimes you get that tanker just on the right heading and everything's good for a bit. Yeah. And then sometimes you go off heading slightly and you can bring it back. And sometimes when you bring it back, you then oversteer and you overcorrect and you have to bring it back. And that's what they are. They're not a nimble speedboat. They are a giant tanker now.
I felt like I was in Speed 2 there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool.
Have you watched Speed 2?
Is it the one on the bus? Was that
Speed 1 is on the bus, Speed 2 is on a boat.
I don't know.
It's on a cruise line.
Maybe.
Anyway. It is not a great film, but it has its moments. It's entertaining, you know.
Was Sandra's bollocks in one of them? She was
the first one, yeah.
Sandra's bollocks.
I don't know who was in the second one, but it was strange.
Funnily enough, Total Warhammer 3 has just gone through a shit-the-bed course-correct moment with DLC process. Exactly. See? There we go. Cool. Come on. We need...
I want to get Total Warhammer. I
haven't even written my list yet.
All right, fine. Thank you, Aaron. This is a weird way of spelling Aaron.
A-R-R-I-N?
A-Y-R-I-N.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Aaron?
Iron?
It's an Irish accent.
Aaron.
Top of the morning to you, Aaron.
Say it like the Fonz. Aaron.
Aaron. There we go.
Brother
Aaron. There we go. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Oh, thank you so much for 5 gifted. We did that one already.
I hope, if you are Irish, next time you go to the pub, Guinness is on sale.
Thank you so much. We're on 65 of the finest members, chat. We're about to go. Do
you want to drop your arm?
If 7 people...
You're in the Brom zone there.
They couldn't see my hand up like that. Yeah. If 7 people give 5, we're done.
Yeah.
If 35 people give 1, we're done.
Yeah.
If everyone in chat gives 1, we're probably also done.
Yeah. We'll wait.
If 3.5 people give 10...
Do you know what, right? AoS stream, highest numbers we've had so far for an AoS stream. Is it because we're complaining?
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
Almost definitely. It's the clickbait title.
It's like I can smell the blood in the water.
Yeah, it's a clickbait title.
Games Workshop shit talk stream.
People are just addictive to passionate anger.
The thing is, though, this is one of the weird things we've had to learn about streaming overall. You have to say something nice, but also putting it in a bad light. I really love new edition of AoS, but the event was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a clickbait in the sense that I wasn't genuinely disappointed with the event. I was genuinely disappointed with the event. But I am disappointed with the event because I think AoS is so good and they didn't do a good job of sorting us out.
Thank you, Buckshot, for 5 gifted memberships.
Is that it? Are you all the way through all the chats and stuff now? Are we done?
Thank you, Melody Wise, for 1 gifted membership. Thank you, Power Pilgrim. That's a great name. For 1
Thank you, Melody and Power Pilgrim. I hope you both are amazing. You lovely humans.
I hope next time you go to the freezer, there's an ice cream in there that you forgot about.
Well, how long have they forgotten about it?
What's in the freezer? It's ice cream.
Okay.
It doesn't go unless it's like at the back where it's become one with the freezer, like in a block of ice.
And then you can't get it out.
You have to like chip it out.
That'd be devastating, wouldn't it? Yeah. Thank you, people, for the 1 each anyway. You people are incredible.
I hope next time you fill up, you do a load of washing. You haven't filled it up too much, so it doesn't come out smelling weird because it hasn't been cleaned properly. Hate overfilling the washing machine. So annoying.
Why is it? It shouldn't smell weird, even if you
sometimes if you overfit, like cram it in, give it at the elbow.
It shouldn't smell weird, Joe. That's a problem probably with your filter. Yeah. Have you checked your filter lately?
If it's a washing machine, you should clean it itself.
No.
I don't know.
Right, okay, there's a little peek into Joe's world. Right, you people are amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It's a shame the event was such a disappointment. Genuinely was a little bit sad that it's so let down, but the reason why I was sad that it was such a letdown was because of how good I think AoS is. So fear not, it hasn't put me off.
When the super secret project opens up, maybe we should just do our own events for these new systems. Just do them better.
I am really into the idea of Spearhead events.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely believe when I played Spearhead on that day, I managed to get a full game in, having never played it before and not knowing any of the rules. I got a competent full game in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think once you've played Spearhead for a bit, you can get a game in under an hour. Right? I reckon you can comfortably play Spearhead in 50 to 55 minutes, maybe
Yeah.
even less time.
I would
right?
give them an hour and a half.
So exactly, imagine an hour and a half round time
Yeah.
for Spearhead. How many games could you get in a day? You get 5-6 games in a day. You
Yeah.
could do a tournament in a day. That sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
And I'm really into it. I'm really excited about AoS 4, so don't worry. We will continue to talk about AoS on the Liam and Joe AoS show from now on. We'll continue to be positive about it, and we'll start smashing through the faction focuses probably from next week. There is a possibility in the coming weeks, whilst we ramp up to new 4th edition AoS, that some more Liam and Joe shows are commandeered for AoS-based purposes, because there's going to be a lot of information coming out. We have, on occasion recently, struggled with 40k-based content because there wasn't any new news. Now, I feel like that's going to mostly be the same because of the AoS ramp-up. So just be warned. We may hijack a couple of Liam and Joe shows on Thursdays to make sure we keep up to date with the faction focuses, because we are both very excited. Coordinate Ed! Thank you for 5 gifted.
Thank you for 5 gifted memberships. I hope next time you do the washing up, someone hasn't like stacked all the plates and then but left one plate with a bunch of shit on it, but you didn't know, so you put them all in the sink. And then when you do it, like it just fills up with like napkins and bits of lettuce and stuff. I fucking hate that. So they haven't cleared off the plates properly. You got a dishwasher, so it's different for you.
I hope the next time you empty your dishwasher, you don't grab a cup that was accidentally flipped upside down during the dishwasher and is now full of water, and then you chuck it over the floor.
Yeah. Or, right, I hope next time you put your recycling out, because this happened to me, that they look inside it and find something that shouldn't be in there, so just decide not to take the entire thing, and then you're stuck with your recycling for another 2 weeks. I hope that doesn't happen to you.
Yeah.
I have to do some late night bin drop.
Do you have the big plastic bins?
A wheelie bin, yeah.
Yeah, is that what you have?
Yeah.
We don't have those.
No?
So our council have decided still to this day, what you literally do is carry your bags out
Yeah.
and then dump them on the side of the road.
You have to have clear bags as well, don't you?
For recycling, yes.
Yeah, we don't have
but not for general waste. For general waste, it's black bags. And if you are one of those people, I hope the next time you put your black bags out, a local cat doesn't cut it open and drag it out all across the road.
Yeah, and then they leave it, the bin people, in the morning, because they're like, despite it being rubbish, it's not my job.
Our bin people don't. Our bin people pick it all up.
Really?
They're fucking incredible. And our neighbour has newborns, and the foxes and cats like to get in there and open up those nappies, and our bin men pick it all up. They're incredible.
All my bin men hate the fact that they seem to be bin
When
men.
our bin men come round at Christmas time, Luce puts a little table at the front of the house and makes a big thermos flask of like hot chocolate and stuff.
Yeah.
Says Merry Christmas and makes some hot chocolate.
Just Luce gets the table out, sits there eating, watching them do their job.
And then she makes some like hot chocolates and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, because they're fucking incredible, Joe. Yeah. So we look after them. Anyway, we're well over. We're half an hour over, but I wanted to talk about that event because I'm just really annoyed about how bad it was and how good it could have been. And GW, they're not short of a few quid. All these events could be really, really good to get people excited. And the last thing I want to happen now is for Vermintide to go on sale, and it doesn't sell out, and then the whole meme start over, because I'm like, I think this could be brilliant. I think it legitimately could be brilliant.
I think this one will sell out because obviously they've released an entirely new faction in Dominion. It's a bit contentious.
I think, the Cruel Boys probably didn't help Dominion, but hey, we'll see. Tonight at 7:30, we have a live game of Warhammer 40k. Joe is finally going to bring his Narrative Night Lords attachment, and I think we're going to... I need to speak to Vince, because he might be coming in next Tuesday or Thursday to play with Sisters.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I put them against Sisters if he's coming in with Sisters next week, because that's too much Sisters.
Yeah.
But we'll throw them against something tonight anyway. So look out for that at 7:30 this evening. Tomorrow at 7:30, we've got the Warhammer show. Check out that one. It used to be the 40k show, but now it's called the Warhammer show, so we can talk about anything. Thursday, we've got another Liam and Joe show at 13:30, and then another live game in the evening, Brom versus Joe. The final Chaos Space Marines preview versus Space Wolves, so look out for that. 4 Chaos Space Marine games, 4 detachments in 2 weeks, treating you all right. And then Friday, we have 40k After Dark at 8:30. It is... Skaventide, sorry.
Skaventide.
Yes. It is a full content schedule of 7 streams this week, not just 4 or 5 or 6, or like some other channels do 1 for free. No, that's not how we work. 7.
Yeah.
7 streams.
Just all Liam up in your face.
Right.
Just man meat everywhere.
Yeah. So hopefully you join us tonight at 7:30, you beautiful people. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.